Hello guys, today we're gonna take a look at Billy Squier's Don't Say No for vinyl. uh, so this one came out in 1981. It's 38 minutes 11 seconds long, not a long album. It was under the label Capitol, and producers were credited to Mac and Billy, which Billy being Billy Squier. Mac, he was he worked with ELO, Electric Light Orchestra, and Queen, so that's pretty good credentials there. Singles. See, Stroke in the Dark, My Kind of Lover, 2 Days Gone was a UK exclusive single. I like how you just started just naming the singles on this. I didn't start with that, but I kind of like doing that a little bit, just to kind of give an idea of what songs, because there's songs in here that I thought were singles, but weren't, which is surprising to me. Who worked on the album? Even though it's a solo album, they do have credits for other art. There's Billy Squier, of course, the guy. Lead vocals, rhythm guitar, percussion, piano. Carrie Sheriff did lead guitar. Alan St. John did keyboards, Mark Clark did bass guitar backing vocals, and Bobby Chouinard did more drums with quotations. But yeah, it's a very interesting record here. And then AllMusic, the critics gave it 4.5 stars out of 5, and user ratings with about 300-ish user ratings also gave it 4.5 stars out of 5. So this is an interesting song. So basically, this is kind of considered a super album and the best of Billy Squier's career. Now the thing with Billy Squier is that he had this sound and tone that really stood out among contemporaries, and he was kind of credited let me see here. Yeah, it was pretty much credited as kind of like that early 80s, one of the biggest things for the early 80s hard rock. Bringing actually just 80s in general melodic hard rock. It kind of was one of the first of that area. And man, this album, it has a lot of mix. But we'll get into that. Let's talk about first. The thing itself actually isn't too flashy. I mean, it's simple, but it's a great design for a cover in the back as well, with the tracks and the credit. Nothing really inside, except for the record. I left this out because I didn't want to put it in and out. This is what it is. It's like this and this. It's pretty self-explanatory. I did, however, of course, like a lot of records, got it used. So it could have came with something a little fancier, but like the original owner lost it or kept it or something. So yeah, so that's that. Now let's see, the songs themselves. 10 songs on here, so nothing too large. First, In the Dark is I actually heard this one before, and man, I will say, like a lot of singular albums, the tone's and the sound's gonna be pretty consistent, but there's a lot of experimentation in this record that work really well to the point where you don't even question it being experimental. In the Dark, very great use of melody, and very catchy and very hardcore. The Stroke, of course, is probably one of his biggest songs. The song I'm very familiar with of his. It's an anthem song. I mean, it's a song you'll hear all the time. It's really, really, really good song. Very anthemy, very nice. My Kind of Lover, that one's also really catchy, and it has a very killer riff as well. You know what I like? Pretty similar to that one. Not a single, but still good. 2 Days Gone. Man, that one's an interesting one. It has kind of, the lyrics in these records are very like, he does a good job of not being overly obvious with the story. Kind of keeps it a bit abstract. That one was very abstract. Lonely as the Night. That is considered one of his big songs, and it was not a single. It's weird. Everyone thinks of that song as like one of his bigger songs, but it wasn't a single. Of course, Lonely Night. I love it because because the arrangements. That's another thing about the album. The arrangements are killer, with and very clear and very well recorded. Lonely as the Night is another one that's very killer in that area with the riff. It's like super well known to that one. What do you want from me? It's another one, probably similar to. Oh man, some of the songs kind of blend with each other. That's what happens with non-single tracks sometimes. That one kind of is, but it's still good. It's still good. Nobody knows that is actually a ballad. It's definitely a standout song, but it starts off kind of ballady, which is good. But when it gets toward the end, he starts adding they start adding like all these extra bells and all this extra stuff that really makes it elevates it to really this big epic thing, and I love it a lot. I Need You is kind of low key catchy. Like it's catchy, but in a simpler term, and it really stands out towards the end. Don't Say No. It's not. I don't think it's a long one, but it's definitely. It starts off really like riffy with the vocals and guitar, it's just like boom, 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 and it really just gets louder and louder. Yeah, it's that one's a good one to end the song, and it's the title track too of the album. So Billy Squier, in general, he has a sound that's both like it stands out, but yet it makes sense that it'd be the pioneer of that kind of music. And I think what makes him stand out because he was the first one to blend in all these different musical rock tastes of like old school 50s, 60s rock with what was going on currently in rock, and also what was going on in pop and the riffs and everything, and blend them all in to kind of create this of the time sound, but yet still kind of timeless at the same time. And the range of that sound is huge, but it doesn't sacrifice the identity of him. Because when you hear his voice and you hear the guitar, you know it's him. You don't confuse him for anyone else. You know it's Billy fucking Squier. Kind of like Queen. Kind of all the big bands' music and sound. When you hear it, you recognize them. It has to be a deep track, or you're a complete noob to not recognize it. The reason why I don't think people don't talk about him so much is because he was huge. This was like a super album. He had some hit singles on other albums too. But when he got to the more towards the mid 80s, he did an album. I don't remember what it was. I don't remember what song. It wasn't a bad song, but the music video, it had him like do this kind of footloose flash dance like copycat thing to it, and it was received poorly. It kind of slowed down his career to a barely of a heartbeat. It kind of almost ruined him, really, which is very sad because for a brief period from the late 70s, early 80s, he was like the pioneer, and he was good. He was like famous, but when it came down to it, when it came to like kind of mid 80s, I think like 84, 85, maybe 83, but I don't think 83. It kind of stalled, and then yeah, it's kind of sad because based on what it seemed like what was his strategy with music and his kind of type, he could have reinvented himself nonstop and still maintain his identity and timelessness. And yeah, it's a shame, but still great record, a lot of great songs. It's everything you'd want. It's simple yet complex. It's identifiable, but it's definitely one of its time in a good way. It's a pioneer, but yet it's a pioneer of its kind of music. It's one of the first, and to be honest, it's one of the best of that tone and time. It's hard to describe really because if you just listen skin surface, it just sounds like any like late 70s, early 80s hard rock thing. And technically it is. But if you really listen, and if you listen to a lot of rock, you can tell that he's doing strategies and tones and arrangements that are very unique to him. And it's like a lot of little things make something really unique. That the more you listen to, the more you hear it. and it's really, really interesting and really good. But yeah, but yeah, that's the album itself. You could probably get it on CD. I don't think cassette. You could probably get it on YouTube too. I definitely recommend it, and his other works probably as well. Because to be honest, he did release some stuff after that video debacle, and from what I've heard and understood, it hasn't been anything dreadful. I just think, I think it was just one thing, and it just kind of, it's just one of those things where an artist just makes the one bad choice that doesn't quite work, and it unjustifiably ends everything because people can't get over it. It's a shame, and unfortunately, you see a lot of that nowadays too. But yeah, it's a great record. I recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'm thinking, as a heads up, side note, as a heads up, I'm probably gonna stop the run at 18 vids as opposed to 20 because Mike uploaded a bunch of food reviews, and I'm gonna put them in, give myself a bit of a break, and then after the food review stuff, I will do Fenn recommends. But yeah, so the next one, I'm gonna do one more cassette one that I have before I take a break again. I'm leaning towards probably a Kansas Live album. So, but we'll see. But that's where I'm leaning towards. And then the last one, I'll probably do a CD one again. And then yeah, and that'll be it for a bit. But I might go back to this later in the year. Maybe. It's a maybe. I'm not quite sure if I will or not. It just depends on how everything lines up for me. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. In case you want to chat with me, Mike, or anyone else at the Campy Company, you don't want to use the YouTube comment section, we do have a couple options. The first one is we have a Discord channel. You can find the link to that in the About page / About section of our channel. We also have a discussion tab on our channel as well. You can access that through a PC or laptop computer. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the videos, and have a good